I mean, that happens, and people, say, oh, I'll put out audio recorders, I'll take some pictures, and then they get an EVP that they don't like, and then suddenly...
Or an EVP at all.
Or an EVP at all. Maybe not even one that's negative, and they decide that, that's it, I'm not staying in my house, or whatever. And what I've never understood is, particularly something that they've lived there for a period of time, but suddenly their experience is so different, and they decide that based on what happened in this one night is going to alter how I live my life.
Right. And I need to tell everybody that's listening in, and maybe you all know already, that 99.99% of the places you go into, you're going to catch an EVP.
Yeah.
Period. I can't...
We know an investigator who's caught him in his car.
Yeah. So that, the fact of the matter is spirit is everywhere. So if you go looking for it and you find it, don't be scared of it. It's already there anyway.
Well, and I think in part that they look at it, I think a lot of people decide, oh, let's go do this, and they think it's going to be like a signal.
Right.
There's someone. Okay.
Are they here now?
I don't know where
I didn't see a car here.
Well, no, I didn't either, but I did hear something.
Well, then, the people here aren't solid.
Well, that's true. That's here when there's no one here, but I do know someone...
I didn't see the dude's car, and I didn't hear him come in, but I don't mean that,
yeah.
Maybe he's really quiet. I don't know.
But, I lost my train of thought.
You have a train?
It's very small. One day. So I think that people just... they're expecting a steakhouse experience, and I guess they think it just turns off. I don't know.
Well, I think that's what we've experienced on some of our tours, is people come in expecting to get the daylight scared out of them, and some of them act kind of disappointed when they're not getting the daylight scared out of them.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that most people do not understand the amount of work that goes in to get that one little piece. And how many hours and hours and hours that you sit in the darkness, basically, and figuratively speaking.
But those are the people who are going to do it for a little bit, maybe don't get anything, and say, oh, there's nothing here.
Right.
But for the people who do get something, those are the ones that it sometimes really does alter their perception. And sometimes they seem to have a really hard time dealing with it. And I guess, what do you think everyone, what do you think would be good for people? If you're going to do something like this, one, we all recommend that you get a hold of a reputable team, someone with experience to begin with. If someone is going to do this, what steps should they take to prepare them for what they may find? I don't mean they're avoiding it.
Well, your mind should be right for one thing. If you're scared or you have negative intentions or negative thoughts, that's a no-go.
Well, yeah, or even if you've got a lot of adrenaline pumping, because I think a lot of people are like, titillated. Oh, I'm just planning, something's going to scare me.
And what we tell our investigators, too, is that, if you're sick, you don't feel well, you don't feel right, don't do it. Period.
Another thing is don't mix alcohol.
No. And firearms.
I was actually thinking of someone else. But
right, I know. Which is, and it actually fit both situations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And because I think when, to be honest, I think when people miss self-medication, whether it's alcohol, pills, whatever it may be, with doing this, I think they can get more obsessed with it and have less perspective of what they are actually experiencing.
Well, and I know some investigators that like to go on a location cold, but some like to have the history. Yeah. I happen to be the ones that like to know what the history is, what I'm going into. And so for me, and someone like myself, regardless of whether it's the home you live in or wherever you're going, do your research and figure out what was there prior, because there's sometimes a lot of things that may be so well documented yet not documented.
Right.
When she says going in cold, she means me.
Yeah, but I think John, yeah, but John's also really prepared for what he's going to walk into, and you prepare yourself before you go in it. I mean, as much as, you know, crazy person.
That's the same kind of your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before you do anything.
Well, I think, you know, and we told you guys the same thing coming in the team. No matter what your spiritual belief system is, have a strong spiritual belief system.
And I think that goes toward this too. Make sure you got it good.
Yeah, I don't give a crap what you believe. You know.
Well, I think too. I mean, not to get too far off topic, if you do this long enough and join a good team, I think you're spiritually, you're going to grow spiritually.
Sure.
There's no way around it.
Yeah, a little more.
Your thought about it when you change.
And you're not going to change maybe totally what you believe in, but it's going to enhance it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Are you guys hearing stuff? Because I must be deaf.
there's a lot of movement going
Wow,
on.
I'm so tired I can't even.
I think not familiar with this stuff.
No, I'm just like person.
And I heard something in there that
It might be the dude staying here. I don't know if it's here. I didn't see his car.
I haven't heard of that door, but
I'm so tired I can't even see my eyelids.
I think because your eyes are open.
Oh. I know. Just right there.
I think one of the things that we see a lot happening is the lack of respect that teens have for themselves, have for one another, but mostly for the location that they're going in. If you don't have respect at all when you're going in there, that's a big no-no in my opinion.
Well, now, and if you're doing this on your own, I mean, I guess that's another thing. I don't recommend anyone doing this completely alone.
Not by themselves, yeah.
No, I think you should have two people there. And for one thing, if nothing else, it gives you another set of eyes, ears, etc. to say, did I see that? Did I do that? What's going on here? And I think for those that do tend to get a little bit of the adrenaline pumping and everything else, unless you have two people like that, then maybe there's a better chance that you'll get carried away. Because I think
If you get carried away, you get the hell out. That ain't right. Somebody picks my big ass up and carries it. I'm gone. Nope. Nope, I'm out. I don't even go in that house. Nope, nobody carrying me down the stairs. Remember the ghost?
Back right out.
I'm sure. Yeah. I want to piggyback, right?
But, you know, I think, for one thing, I think everyone wants magic answers. And you don't necessarily get that. And I think a lot of people, because they open up more questions, they have a harder time. You know, why, you know, before I was hearing footsteps, or if I saw a shadow. Now I have EVPs that tell me this.
Correct.
And I think imagination runs wild.
We live in a society of instant gratification.
That's true, too. I hear that.
It's a business to me, and if you want to
No.
I mean, we do get something sometimes, but it's not very often.
Yeah.
No.
Long, hard work. And
There's a lot of hours
a lot of hours
listening.
of listening and watching to get the good stuff, so to speak.
And it's hard to say. I mean, you get stuff on EVP sometimes, and you know, it sounds like one thing, and somebody else will hear it, and it'll sound like something else, and hard to nail down, you know? I mean, really.
No.
We got a lot of noise from Kendrick, but no, I haven't heard anything.
Last week?
Yeah, but I haven't heard any voices, which is kind of uncommon, but I've only been about halfway through it now. But, we got quite a bit of what I think is footsteps, doors knocking, stuff going, weird noises that are, nobody's upstairs and there's knocking in that kid's room. So, it's obviously paranormal, but it's kind of hard to, it's kind of weak, So, I don't know. But yeah, you could go into a place and not get anything. And we've been in places, there's times that some of our tour locations don't produce.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know if we've ever been where we actually got absolutely nothing.
No, probably not nothing, but sometimes they're better than others.
Yeah. Well, okay, how about everyone, there seems to be this trend lately that, I put out a recorder in my house, I've got MVP, so the answer is to bring my friend over to clean the house.
Oh, shit.
And that's going to take care of everything.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
False advertising.
Yeah.
I know someone right now that is cleaning their own house and they ordered their things off the internet and got basically printed out the directions on how to do it. And that, I'm like, well, you do
Yeah,
that.
I don't remember those,
So, and I politely said to her, do you know what you're doing? She's like, well, great, here, I'll just get the paper. I'm like, we're not making macaroni and cheese, man. I'm trying to be nice to them. Do that, yeah. There's a way, because you don't have to. So, as far as that goes, yeah, I think so.
And I think people don't understand that anybody that says they're doing a removal, no, you're not. They might calm it down.
The trees are not meant to remove.
No, it's a calming effect.
Yeah, that just clears, negative or unsettled energy. I know like unsettled better than negative, right? A cleansing or most things that a layperson is going to do is not going to affect anything as far as going to make it clear go away with that kind of thing. And, so
I would get...
in begin with, most clergy don't know how to deal with these things. And, sometimes they'll do a house blessing, but that doesn't necessarily alter the activity.
Yeah, and the further in the more younger the priests are, the more they don't believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of all so many different accounts of it. So, you have the older priests who are like, yeah, there's negative stuff going on, and they teach this stuff, but then you have the younger priests who are like, God, this stuff doesn't exist.
Right, but they actually have expanded the school for exorcists at the Vatican, not a few years.
Because the requests for exorcisms in an all-time high, last article I read.
Right, and so they're actually training more exorcists now in the Catholic Church than they ever have. But I was thinking more along the lines of other faiths, because that's one thing we get a lot. I've had my minister come over, what faith are you? On Baptist or, Presbyterian and whatever, and those faiths don't have any rituals, any blessings, anything aimed at this. And a lot of those faiths actually, take the view that any spirit activity is demonic.
Right.
And so you've got a combination of viewing everything as demonic, and then because they view everything as demonic, they decided we don't deal with it. So, but yeah, we're going to come in and bless the house and tell people it's okay. I probably just need people to understand.
Well, that's okay. I think it's fine. We don't normally go in and do a cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
We've got people that are probably trained enough to do them. I think if I was going to go, if I was out there and I wanted somebody to come do a cleansing of my house, I would find clergy that is schooled in that. You know, your Native American shamans, any really the shamanistic groups. If somebody says they're a witch, don't take that for word. Yeah, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than just clothes and jewelry. You know, yeah. Anyway, no. You know, so it's more, to me, it's more important to get somebody that has been around the block with it. You know, that's got the experience to come in and actually do it real quick. Yes, you could probably sage your house, and there's directions on the internet that are semi-half okay. But the intention of it is what's more important. You could say boogly boogly boo and throw some smoke around the house and, you know, still cleanse it, you know?
You got to show reverence to everything that you do, like that, or when you go into, like Susan said, when you go into, you know, we do a lot of historic places, you show reverence to that place.
Right.
It's like we always tell when we've given our roles and everything, we respect the places we go into. It's their place, it's their house. So we show respect, and I think it's the same way with cleansing. You got to respect the process.
Right, and you have to respect spirit too, because even if the spirit is negative, it's still a person. You know, and it may not be a solid person, and they may not even know that they're not solid anymore. But the fact of the matter is they still have a conscience. You know, and awareness. So, you know, you kind of have to give it that. You know, give them that respect and treat them like people. You know, I mean, to me, that's probably more important than anything. Don't fear, you know, and don't treat them like crap. If you came in my house and treated me like crap, I'd knock you out. You know?
Well,
it's the same thing.
It's expecting everyone else to do the same thing.
Right.
You know? And, you know, and maybe that's part of why there's this increase in the perception of negative and demonic activity is just the lack of knowledge, lack of respect, but just the attitude that
I think that's it.
That so many people, you know, everything is instant gratification. They want a McDonald's world for everything, and they don't show respect for anything or patience for anything.
Well, yeah, or they go in and yelling and screaming and carrying on and calling names and come at me, you know, come at me. And we know who we're talking about, but you know, we just don't work that way. I don't think that a group should work that way. You don't have to. Why would you have to?
Well, if you have a religious form, if you will, whatever.
Ideology.
Yeah, whatever you believe in, and that's what church you go to. If they don't. Okay, so anyway. If that place does not believe in the fact that there is spirit, they're not going to be able to help the member of their
congregation,
Catholic or parish. They're not going to help that person because A, they don't know what they're doing, they don't know who to reach out to, or how to do anything. So this person over here that's having an issue is going to continue just to create that little circle in their house because they don't know what else to do, and they're afraid to reach out for that because A, they're going to get confirmation that yes, there is something there, but then their church, again, will look down upon them because they're believing that this is happening. So to me, there's this vicious cycle. How do you break that?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, and then to add to that, I've even read that if spirit is not part of that faith system, you're not going to do anything with it anyway.
Well, and that's what I was really starting to get to too, is that, you know, if you do have spirit that is a different belief system than the one that's purporting to eliminate them or eradicate them, they're not going to respond. you know, and so I mean I think that's something that's built into the concept of the Catholic exorcism, is that the demons that they assume they're dealing with as fallen angels do have the implicit belief in the system, even if they don't want to acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. But if you're dealing with something that is of a completely different culture, completely different time period, that could be entirely different.
Well, just to add a little, to make the circle a little more bigger.
That was freaking cool.
Is
There was a light, it just, a little ball of energy went up her coat.
well, I'm not warm.
Let's get closer.
Just further knowing this, what I read was if this vicious circle is happening, it's going to weaken several parties, and therefore the problem is going to escalate because there's weakening and it's just going to continue.
Well, and often what happens is that, you know, if you do have something that's negative, it will purposefully recede into the background for a while, so that you assume whatever you did was effective, and then come back stronger, more aggressive, and different tactics than before. And so, you know, I think that's the problem, is that people just assume, oh, it's just as simple as shaking some sage around, and that's it.
I think there's this catch-22 ghost hunting and listening shows where on one aspect it kind of has undone a little bit of the stigma surrounding that people can openly talk about paranormal activity now, where before maybe 20 years ago people who believed they had ghosts, they'd be thought of as crazy. So people are more likely needed to say, I think I have a ghost in my house. So, but and the thing on the opposite scale, because of shows like that, people don't take it seriously. They don't think it's a serious thing because it's seen on television, so they're more likely to handle the situation incorrectly. So it's kind of good at these shows because it undoes the stigma, and it's kind of bad because people see it on TV and they think it's entertainment and it's not something that you need to be serious. So,
I think, unfortunately, to go back to the one show we talked about earlier, that everything's demonic. There's other shows that children have to watch that, you know, used to deal with home. But for a while, they had a nice, even mix of demonic ones and not. Now, every freaking show is something evil.
Well, I think that goes, I think it really is the television companies want them to produce, and so they have to produce, quote unquote, right? I think that's why one of our friends' shows not on anymore is because, you know, I mean, he didn't play that game, right? You know, he just wasn't going to, right? And so they just, you know, they let him go, you know? I mean, that's just, they want results. And,
Well, and then once you produce some results, then people get used to it, like something more.
Yeah, more.
So it continues. Desensitization means that something bigger has to happen, or scarier, or more dangerous to live. And so they get in that cycle, that they have to outdo themselves all the time.
yeah, I know that there's that pressure to perform.
Yeah.
It's like marriage. Son of a...
I think it's like marriage.
What's wrong with this?
No.
No.
I don't like to do it in the rain.
Well, you know,
I think I saw her in Playboy.
not as much. the investigation that we had here a couple weeks ago when we had very little happen, and we had people here on the floor. And Susan and I were talking about it, how that almost is more evidence than not, because it proves that we're not trying to make things happen, we're not setting things up to happen, we're not imagining things are happening, because sometimes something just doesn't happen. And, so I think that actually adds credibility. And I would kind of wish we could sit on television a little bit more, like sometimes something just doesn't happen. And, if they go into every place they go into, they have all this stuff happening, it kind of takes away their credibility a little bit. It's just something haunted thing happens.
Oh, there's not going to be stuff flying across the room or
Right.
shadows or, that's not always the case in every investigation. There's generally spirit there, but doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be super active.
Or good TV.
Yeah, good TV.
Well, yeah, it's not good TV. And that's what people expect when they see it on television and they want to turn they want to see it turn on an investigator, they expect that happening. They expect it to not happen, and this kind of happening all the time.
And sometimes we do. I mean, we've had people here and they've come across shadow people, but you don't see the Hat Man very often here. I mean, it happens, but it's not every time we walk in.
Yeah, he's not waiting on you all the time,
Sometimes I wonder though.
Sometimes it kind of is. But, here's another thing. When people decide, I want to go do this, and you hear a lot of them, and we have a lot of talk to us that, we're going to go find places. And then there's been there have been occurrences in the last couple of years of, these kind of ghost hunters burning down historic homes and vandalizing them. And, but again, they're chasing the thrill. And, if you're chasing the thrill, you need to go to the spook house.
Yeah.
Or go to an amusement park, go to a roller coaster. But that's not what this is about.
Yes, you may the first couple of times get an adrenaline rush, but after that, it's just like anything, after that, it's not.
Right.
And it's about the investigation.
Exactly. And, I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people, probably more people than not, in my experience, start out wanting to go chase ghosts and decide it's not for them.
Right.
I think people really need to think ahead of time more than, it's fun to sit in the dark and see what happens, than how am I going to feel if I find something.
Right.
And,
what am I going to do when something grabs my butt during an investigation? Probably squirrel like a little girl. Smack that butt.
So, I think we talked about being in the right frame of mind and so forth. I think people, I think they really need to think long and hard about what is it that they're really looking for. Because, we come across them often that, what they thought they were wanting is a lot different. And, especially when it's your own house.
Yeah, we get people that, they'll try to investigate their own house. They'll call it the same. They want us to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay. All of a sudden, we're Ghostbusters.
We're not going to come in with our plasma backpacks and our ghost traps.
Just doesn't work that way. So, yeah, and you're right. If you don't want to find it, don't look for it. Just if you don't want to get in a fight, don't go to Rosie's Bar down on the corner,
And not the hat off the
don't look for it.
And if you do find something that be scared of, We're not just trying to be evil.
I wouldn't even be scared of them because,
No.
you know, all you're doing when you fear something is you feed it. So if you don't fear it, you're not feeding it.
Right.
And that's what they dwell on, is what they feed on, that energy, that fear energy, the negative. You know, they want the negative energy. They want you to be scared.
Well, I guess that's the thing that people, I think that's what happens to people if they come across something bad, is that they automatically assume they are powerless, that this negative entity is sort of all-powerful and can do whatever. And once you walk across that line, then you are in the territory of they that cause you trouble. I guess we ought to talk a little bit about what can happen to people when they go down that road.
I don't know what happens to them.
We forgot that we
What?
never
Oh, yeah.
Who are you people?
Why are you here?
I can't see anyway, even without. This has been black too. Yeah, my
Well,
So, I mean,
we can talk psychological.
physical, psychological. I mean, I think psychological is probably the biggest one because, like you were talking about earlier, it's going to wear you down until you're so tired that you can't fight back.
And you question
And you
yourself.
question yourself.
Question your sanity.
Yeah.
And I
There you go.
have seen investigators get to the point where, by provoking, antagonizing, etc., that they're physically on their back. Psychologically, kind of become dysfunctional. And so, that can happen, especially when you go through the years.
What do you think is the worst thing that people can do on their own if they are trying to investigate their own home or a friend's house? What do you think is the worst possible thing they can do?
You said it.
Do it themselves?
Yeah, you said it. Well, on their own.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe people will
Because they don't have the knowledge to do it, I think. Their knowledge comes from television, and that's not... I mean, that's why we ask people that want to join the team to come on tours. So they know how we do it, how we function, how we work, and that's an investigation. These guys actually were going to start their own team, and we're coming to help, wanting to learn from us, and it all just comes up. Yeah, we had cookies. No, yeah.
Well, I think a good example is think about anyone sitting in a dark room and sleep deprived. Sitting up all night in a dark room with no sound, no light, and just sit there all night long. And what kind of state are you going to be in the next morning?
Sure.
And that's before you add in paranormal activity. And if you can say, wow, I'm not going to be alert, I'm not going to do, thinking clearly, etc., well, there you go. And so why do you want to do that without someone else there to have another point of view?
Truthfully, when I first started, I was pretty run down. I mean, we get hard. Sometimes we go pretty hard. And I was worn out. I told Lisa, I just can't do it.
I think some months of November, I'm like,
Yeah, and that's when we take a break.
And I think psychologically I was beaten, I was still learning myself. And I think that's the biggest part of it. That's why we're so adamant on how you're feeling. you know, because if you're tired, if you are sick, you know, if you're just not mentally there, or don't think mentally that you can handle it, you shouldn't be in an investigation. You know, I mean, it's not that we don't want you there, it's that we don't want you to get hurt, right? I mean, we've all been in situations, I know Lisa has too, where just mentally, especially if you're sensitive, mentally, you can get beat up. I mean, there's been times I come out of investigations, I'm just like, holy shit, what the? You know? Yeah, like, you got 9 rounds of Tyson or Muhammad Ali or something.
I've had massive headaches in that place. And sometimes I feel like I have been that slowly and just crazy.
You have to get rest. And that's why I'm kind of, when Lisa wants to schedule 2 a weekend, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I mean, once in a while is okay, but
And we don't do that.
we don't do much anymore. We could. I mean, we probably could, but there's really no point in the team being hurt by just wanting to do these investigations. We can schedule them out if we're losing or losing. You know, if we find somebody else, they find somebody else. And sometimes they come back. Because they want it. The living dead. Do the hair. Do the hair. There you go. The Claudios of the teenage world.
You know, I was just going to say, one of the things I think that's really important, and I've just learned this recently, is being able to trust your teammates and know that when someone else can tell that you're off, know that you're off. You know, and know that you need to sit down and take a minute, or even go out in the car and not come back in. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes trust yourself and your
No matter how bad you want to go back in there. And sometimes, I mean, just going out and getting some air, you know, holding your head back, you're grounding yourself. Grounding. We didn't talk about protection, but grounding. You know, even just eating a little something, or you know, just understanding what grounding is and how that can help keep your spirit here, so that you can function on it, right?
Well, I mean, I guess that's...
I hate to get into it too deep, because, I mean, everybody's faith system is different, but, you know.
Well, I mean, and most faith systems allow for some instances or some concept of out-of-body experience, or projection, etc., of some sort. And, you know, you can be in situations where your spirit is a little removed from the situation you're in. Well, yes, you look at your God. So.
I mean, really, it feels like I'm half out and half in.
Yeah. And I get that way sometimes, but you do it a lot more than I do.
We start back and forth really quick. I can tell if you're picking up something. I'm like a severe radar.
I can just tell, I can tell the way you're moving, usually, you know. And, you know, I guess that's something we ought to say, too, is for people to understand, I think they go into cavalier and, oh, well, this is no big deal, you know, because nothing can touch me. Well, energy affects energy, and we are energy. I mean, to be perfectly honest, we're a low voltage battery, to be honest. Our bodies are, but our consciousness, our spirit is energy, and spirit that's disembodied is energy and can affect us. And so that is why, you know, it can have an effect on you, and if you don't pay attention, something will happen.
Yeah, and if you're sensitive and you absolutely don't know your triggers, or you don't know the feelings,
Well, and a lot of people don't really know that there's some...
Right, and they'll walk into, we've had it happen in investigations, in tours, they'll walk into a tour, and the radars go off, and holy crap, we got to drag them out of the building because they don't know what's going on,
So a lot of people just think they just, have gut feelings or whatever. They have more developed sensitivity or mediumship, psychic abilities, if you want to call it that. And, if they've not paid attention to that or figured that out, and they start investigating on their own, then they can seriously get, sort of upside down.
Yeah, quickly.
Because it can happen regardless, even if you're aware of it. But if you're not aware of it, and there's a lot of times the spirit, even if it's not negative, it likes to be playful and play tricks, and that's not necessarily bad, but it's just human nature, and like, hey, it's hard to do.
Yeah, watch this.
And so, if you, I think some people who do have some abilities, or even if you don't think of it, you need to really reflect. You have gut instincts that are right. You tend to sometimes know when things are going to happen, or know who's on the phone before you have reason to know. Things like that, then you have sensitivity and spirits going to interact with that more with you than other people.
And even if you don't know that stuff is happening, or you don't pick up on it, or it doesn't happen, doesn't mean you're not a sensitive. It just means those things didn't happen.
Right.
But those are key things. And walking into an investigation, not knowing that can be scary. Truthfully, or people chain you to a wall if you join a team.
Yeah.
And not everyone is the same type of sensitive either.
No.
Actually, I cry a lot.
I know. We weren't very good.
You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. I don't know what you're talking about. So we got two. I think I've seen the movies like out of the country, less than 50 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So it's like I'm just going to let them go. Oh, well, we're good. I don't even know what film that was. We got a couple of minutes left. We want to talk about, we've got some things coming up. Opera House on the 14th. We are doing a pre-investigation of Prosperity Schoolhouse tomorrow night. We're going to start doing tours on the 4th of April on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, our Twitter is being manned by my gorgeous son, Tristan. So PSL Missouri, the @ symbol in PSL Missouri, if you want to catch up with us there. I think that he's doing a pretty good job of keeping it up to date. The website's been revamped. We're going to start putting all of our evidence up on there. Start blogging more. Lisa?
Yes.
A little bit more about what the team is.
Yeah, some people have bios.
excellent.
Yes. Excellent pictures.
Yeah, I like that one too. I had a hard time cropping that one because it was you standing. It's like,
There's Wonder Woman.
You wanted me to take the picture.
you can see my PSL shirt, yeah. That's okay, I love. All right. Anything else?
Well, you might watch the website and our Facebook page and Twitter because there will be announcements coming soon for some national television air days.
Oh yeah, there's new stuff from there.
Yeah.
And international.
And international, but one coming pretty soon that we can't announce quite yet, but it's supposed to be out in the next few weeks. So.
I No, it doesn't sound
Anything else? I think that was pretty much
I
it.
think that's pretty well it. We may have to take Susan here
I
to
think
emergency.
Susan just wet herself. But other than that, we're good.
We're good.
All right, everybody. Well, we thank you for showing up tonight. We appreciate you tuning in, and we hope everybody has a great, safe weekend.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
All right. Good night.
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 I'm trying to pull that strong. No, just have them call your number and you can just patch my phone.